This is day 406 of the Arukh HaShulchan. If you would like to sponsor upcoming share or more of the Arukh HaShulchan, please contact me directly. It'd be greatly appreciated. To this week's learning of the Arukh HaShulchan is sponsored by Reb John Abraham for the schus of his Hatzlacha and learning Torah. Today we are doing Siman Reish Ayin Dalet Siv Vav, Siman Ayin Reish Hey Siv Zayin Siv Vav Vav to Vav. It's interesting that in the Arukh HaShulchan calendar, Reish Ayin Dalet spelled out, but not in the Arukh HaShulchan itself. It should have spelled Ayin Reish Dalet. So both Ayin Reish Dalet and Ayin Reish Hey are permuted in the Arukh HaShulchan itself. So Vav. We're in the middle of the past. Obviously, okay, shtek because biyodo. You hold the two pieces, two loaves of bread in your hand. Don't cut them at all. Cut them at bracha before you make the bracha. To be no shlemos b'shas bracha. You need to have shlemos, whole loaves when you make the bracha. And marshim b'sakino, you make a roshem, a mark with your knife. When Bavarach HaShem and make a bracha on both of them. Uvleil Shabbos v'tzeh tachtona. On Friday night, you break the bottom bread. Yisarus de l'sato, as we say. You're obviously coming in from the chakal tapuchin kadishin, from the fields, literal fields to the holy fields, and that's from the bottom up. Yontif yomo yom Shabbos, and the night of Yontif and the night of Shabbos, and I'm sorry, the day of Shabbos. Yontif, night of Yontif. V'yomo and the day of Yontif, v'yom Shabbos and the day of Shabbos, the daytime. Botzei al yona, you make the bracha on the upper challah. Susadil Eila, Kosh Baruch coming towards us. That is the surah of Atika. Atika is Kosh Baruch Hu coming down, the ancient one, towards us. V'yesh misramim, when Yontif is a Yontif, however, doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. Everything is considered to be Sarusa de Leila. Some people get upset at cutting the bottom challah. You can't pass over the mitzvahs. Because of Lipsoa, Tamayona, and this, the Bach says to make always a motzi on the upper challah. Those who write to the Chayim, Mikonim, Yanech, Tachna, Yona. First, you should put the bottom one on the top one. And at the time of the bracha, you then put it underneath the top one. Yeshu Kosav, that those who wrote the Tachtonia Krova Elad Soya said that the bottom one should be closer to him, and that's the actual custom. That those who say Abraham Mitzvah is only relevant when you want to do both. Now you're doing only one of them when you evidently get to choose. So Shabbos, be Yuma. Mishnah Berurah says that also that you should the tachtona, which should be closer to him. Zayin, find inspiration mitzvah livtzah b'Shabbos prusa gedola. We already said that on Shabbos is a mitzvah to slice off a large piece of bread, which would be sufficient for the entire meal. Achanoagim livtzah shnei kikros yacha, but those who have accustomed to make a motzi on both loaves. And they don't have to follow this custom. The two ain't a perush came by Gemara, Kmoshni's bar. According to them, that's not the pshat in the Gemara, as has been explained previously in Siv Beis. The people who are there are not allowed to taste from the slice of mamotzi achidam or botzea until the person who cut the bread eats from his slice. But if every one of them has the two breads in front of him, they can taste it. Even the person who broke the main bread hasn't yet eaten his bread, because they're not contingent on his bread. There's an obligation on any Jew, whether man or woman, to eat 3 meals on Shabbos. Achas balayla, 1 at night, Shtayim b'yom, 2 during the day. Moshe Rabbeinu brought down a hint to this in the Torah. Moshe echlu hayom, 1, eat it today. Ki Shabbos hayom, 2, it's Shabbos day. Hashem for Hayom Lotim Tzeb, so that Hayom 3, so 3 sudas. Today you won't find it in the field. See plus Hayom says Hayom 3 times. So it's Laila Shel Shachris Tzvad they took pass. Definitely Friday night Shabbos when you eat that bread. So Shlishi is Yesh Deos. They have opinions about Shalosh Shudas. So now Gam Shal Meikar Pass, but the primary way to eat Shalosh Shudas is also by bread. These brothers seem raised Tzadik Av, and this will be explained later on. V'may de Siba, if for some reason Lochal Balayla, he did not eat a meal at night, then Yochal Shalosh Shudas B'yom, she eat 3 meals during the day. But preferentially she eat at night. Locally she but not like those who hold the Balayla, ain't Chiyuv Klal, that night there's no obligation at all. Chol Shabbos should be Yosem Kabetza Pas. Every Shabbos should be more than a Kabetza Pas, which is 2 Kazesim, which is probably like 2 large slices of bread. I don't know, 2 large. 2 slices of bread. Kidei Shalot Tiachil, so it should not be considered like a snack. On the many but you can't eat more than a kazayis, which is like 1 slice of bread. It says Shabbos. Person always set his table from Erev Shabbos. Even though he only requires technically a kazayis, he should set an elaborate table. That's if he is under pressure. Preferentially, you should use your more than the kibetza. It says brackets Magaram, so we Tzadik Aleph. Because comes and onus. That which you're not makbid on, somebody's not makbid on Lil Shabbos, and only because under compelling circumstances. Mishnah writes, if a person has an onus that he can't fulfill the meal at night, he should push it off till tomorrow and eat 3 seals during the day. As long as he made Kiddush at night and ate immediately after Kiddush, he ate a kazayis of the of cake or cookie, or drank another vias of wine. Ein Reish Heid, Var Masum Lasos Or Haner b'Shabbos. He's not allowed to do according by the light of the candle on Shabbos. Alf Osli Shtamish Or Haner Shel Shemen, Davar Shetzarch In Harbi. You're not allowed to use by the light of an oil candle something which requires meticulous analysis. Bialocha writes it doesn't matter if it requires a lot or a little analysis. Megadim seems to agree. And says name of Abraham that even a little bit of iyun is also. And the Baal Tanya says no, it's only something which requires a lot of iyun. But as he writes here, Tzarech in Ladina, how do you quantify or qualify these things? Back to the Arukh HaShulchan. What else can't you do by the light of the candle, above the whack of the oil candle? Follows begodov. It could be that when it's talking about iyun. Here and in the Mishnah Berurah, it's more mistabed to say that it's all about something which requires peering carefully as opposed to analysis. Similar analysis, which is more general term, but something which requires peering in order to discern finer points. So what do you have to do? Follows to check your garments for lice, or leave the tzitzis, or to check your tzitzis. Or have him ben kalim hadoim themselves are distinguished between vessels which are similar to each other. With tzarch in harbing, you have to peer carefully the chakam to categorize them. Chokay to present anything similar. Candy close but safe are there, and so to light would read a book by the light of a candle. But they forbade this because of concern. Shemadei iyun, because maybe by this careful peering and analysis, Yishkach Yom Shabbos is going to forget today's Shabbos. V'yatener is going to incline the lamp, Lavi Hashem, to bring the oil, Lafi Absil, to the opening to the wick. Sheyadlik Yofa, that the wick should burn brighter. Menim some Mavir b'Shabbos, and he's causing a fire on Shabbos. Feel any kreba sefer b'fiv elishorah bov loim machshava gankin also. Even you're not reading the book verbally, you're reading it just with your eyes. And you learn a thought. That's also also in final analysis. You're distracted by your analysis. You're going to come to incline the lamp to increase the flame. I'm tezvav. Base. V'nei ein sabik dechashash shemi d'shem yatloshach al makom sheish lachush sheismaida or mikamoshi liku. You're talking about yaso sheyeh oro kamikodim. Arukh HaShulchan say this issue was only possible where the candle is a certain luminosity when it's lit, then it goes down to a lower luminosity, and then you want to increase this luminosity back to where it was originally. Like in their lighting, they put oil into a vessel, put a wick into the oil, and the wick is the end of the wick is inside the vessel. So when there's less oil, or the light becomes diminished. When he's going to incline it, to bring the oil closer to the opening of the wick in the lamp, or to fix the light, that's going to burn well. Or he also speaks about fixing the light. But by us, where the light does not flicker or waver or go in and out, with gas lamps. They had open gas, and they used to light the gas which is coming out of that opening. Where the light is in the middle of the fixture, high. The wick is thick, and it's the middle. It's in the middle of the holder. There's glass on it. And so the light never falters or changes until the fuel is complete finished. And then once the fuel is finished, it's not going to work to incline it this way, that way. Even if you want to move the wick, adjust the wick by turning that little knob on the side, it's kind of productive. It's just going to go out. And after, as long as the fuel is not finished, its light is at the same, like the same at the time it was lit. So, and all these, after all that, it's possible to say that Shemiyata doesn't relate that. And certainly not to our electric lights nowadays. This we can be on many Jews who learn by the light of our candlesticks. We astound at this. I should say through our lamps. We read astound this. Where do we have a feet to stand on to allow this? Based on what I said, it works out well. It says in the brackets, I think it's time 36. In the Bir Halacha, I believe it's a parish of the Kitzer. You heard the many of them say this heter on base of their own svara. The Mucha a little bit critical because he says it's clear that the issue from all those Rishonim is the takin or, and that's only relevant when the light goes in and out over time. V'Halacha writes that this heter is not a clear-cut heter. The only relying is the place of this bittul Torah, especially with tzibur, where you can rely on it because you can be mitzaref. The opinion that Azura says that anyway, there's no issue by tzibur, so nobody's going to go and adjust it. Somebody married before they adjust it, and that will be actually coming up. Gimel, even the candles way up, two stories up. Even to Mirdos, which I'm not sure how that becomes more, because there is an animal prod. Maybe the animal prod is taller. If you have 10 houses, one on top of each other. Even though we're not concerned that you might come to incline the light. Lo plug Rabbanan, Ayin Shem, Rabbanan is not a distinction. And then after it says the Rak Yochid, also the crows, only an individual may not read by the light of the oil lamp. Two people are finished. If one then comes to incline it, yes, will remind him not to. A VIP. It was ain't no longer until Sunday. He doesn't usually play around with the lamp himself. Gam Chol by weekday nechashiv. So, because he's chashiv, mutar, he's permitted. A little more b'Shabbos learn by the light of a candle on Shabbos. But Gleikel Mechel Shem Yatem Rakutsun, he might come to incline. It came in the Gam B'Chol Darko Atos. I show him because that's not what chashiv people do. They have other people do it. B'Chem Yoshav the Beneft mutar latos, and even the Gemara says by neft, whatever that fuel is, that you're allowed to read because it's not going to come to incline the candle because it smells bad. Ayin Sham Levatos, Ayin Sham Perish Rashi. Okay, it says in brackets, Eino Kain Perish Rambam, she's part of Simatif design. Okay, be that as it may. There's a question. Came the minor that I feel good state comas and say even it's two levels high. They like we're not concerned with your inclining. Low Rabban nevertheless did not make a distinction, and they forbade regardless. Came Lamitir B'Shnaim. So that's the case. Why they permitted with two people? Or a significant person. Something which going to smell bad. Name of Lo Rabban. Let's say draw a distinction. The Yeshua materiates the Taz have then the answers. The Chiluk, the difference is the Mishum Mitzad and their Lo Rabbanan. In terms of the candle, Rabbanan didn't do a distinction in terms of what candle you're using. The Chiluk Mitzad on them, but the distinction between types of people, that wasn't part of the Lo Plug, not to distinguish between the different perspectives. I said no sense. Chiluk Mitzad Adam Lo, the Gozu Adam Zatu Adam Acher. Then the decree, this person shouldn't do it less than the other person comes to it. That's in the decree that two people should not do it because one person shouldn't do it. And they didn't take the decree on person who's significant. On account of somebody who's not insignificant. It's not sufficient reason why they not forbade using neft lest you you they didn't decree that you shouldn't be mater, shouldn't incline the candle by nafta because you might come to do it then by oil. So there should be low plug in that as well. If you pay Rashi b'sugya and but the Ran evidently addressed this question because of the Rabbah that which Rabbah said. What did Rabbah say? Oh, even if it's two stories up, it's no good. This is after Rabbah. That's when they're equivalent in one same type. But to be machmir from in one type, because of another type, I feel Rabbi might lo machmir. The Rabbi agrees they're not machmir. Because we say with a significant person, mutter expressive logos in adu sheinu chashuv. We're not concerned they might a person not chashuv. V'shem enami chilku ben. That's where they make the decision. That's in one case. Well, v'shem enami chilku ben. Mishlo, and after the distinction between oil and petroleum and kerosene, they make a decree on each other. Grammars are not the same in terms of degrees of substances, in terms of degrees of human relations. Zelter's borrowed. There's a clear answer. Rishamim Madam Zel. Okay, Rishamim makes the connection. Hey, but the Zel Das Rabbeinu B'Yisrael B'Siv Avshchasav Ein. Poland, they couldn't learn there. This is right. It's recorded. It says don't pick out lice nor read by light of a candle. If you go by us, it's 10 stories high. And you which can't touch it. So Chacham natural distinction in this matter. For such a reason, you should also forbid it in a closed lantern. It's better than a hole in the wall. Yesh Mishikosa, those say the imi skura have to have it's closed with a lock, a key, mutter expressible. Kena some rush, Maram Tamidayim, I guess should be that he said this other Rosh Maram. Tamidim rely on this that they have a lock. They should say those days forbidden. But that's a matter to more. Those who allow it are astonishing. They came with Lopuk Rabban. We don't say we say abundant and distinguished. It came with Chol Gam Yosef, no matter what. Mali made a yochel atos negovo. What's the image you can't incline it because of its height or because it's lack. Once also Yoshbi also. There ain't something but davar. The female she's bar also b'chol gavni. That's what we said. She also in all cases where again the Arukh HaShulchan said the light flickers and wavers over time. Yeshua writes the name of Eli Rabbi is matir when you gave the key to somebody else, not when it's when you have the key in your possession. Vav so how they matir? Oh, this lock and key business if it's low plug. The other one is Daiti Bar Shaloyim and Farsh Kavish Rashi. So it seems to me they did not learn like Rashi. The time Isra Begavoa Harbe that the problem the reason why there's a permission even is very high. Mishum low plug Rabbanah because abundant destroy distinction. And we time the Gam Begavoa Chashin Shemiyah Leviate. We're afraid you might actually go up and incline it. The doves then first Barama Parakate think down it's explicit in Efnag Rambam. Shkasa writes Ain't Polin Bechule. Can't pick out lice. But I feel and even if their 10 houses one on top of each other. Then the candles in the top house, on the bottom floor you shouldn't read by its light nor remove the lice from your clothing. Because maybe you'll come and incline the flame. But Aray Pierce he said explicitly. Because of low plug in the Rambam. Ella the Gam Begova Yesh Chashash Altoya because there's a realistic possibility to climb up and change it. That's the reason why the ladder where it's close to the key is because we're not close, you're going to go up. Because as is, you can't incline it. I suspect that he's going with what the Shabur writes that taking the key means it's off limits to me, I give it to somebody else. He says in the brackets, I'm sorry, Timiani, I'm first sure Gish with the Rambam Shebeinu. So I should know he noticed the Rambam. And his brackets, Ayin Bach, Shetorach B'Dibay Rambam, Bach, a difficult time to say the Rambam. The little coming on Cheres interprets it a different way. Nation Dvora, Nedor Shebercha Beis, because he says Bercha Beis, Markabo B'Koysa Sh'Oyser in terms of looking in the mirror on Shabbos. Tmiyanim Mistar says Arukh HaShulchan. And before his Barachi couldn't test him out, the Master Matech Shiatzimon Megal Lachas. Ayin Sham. That the cutting is done with that. With that mirror. And the Achigalech is going to remember before you start cutting the hair. But Leislu, as far as the Rabban don't hold of this. But I have a mamish kibakan that becomes literally like over here. But so that's the place we can't do atoya. When it's like it's close. If you're afraid, maybe bring the key. That we're not concerned with. The pshita cheese because it's now as soon as going to remember time he gets the key to us. Sharim times are so good that this is the reason why I closed. But in a Shashi is like a container. It's like a lamp. I think it's an earthenware lamp. Bechor, if it's in a hole, should be called to latos. You can come actually to incline it. V'lo Yisrael won't remember. Being be'emes v'shem b'sham ein called to latos mutter. That so if it's place where it's likely, it's also place not likely. It's permissible. Say so good be inyan zeh v'duk. There's a great principle in this matter. Okay, if you can't. Bottom line is, if you can't be mounted, won't be a problem. The question is nowadays dimmer switches. Avadi says we're not going to dimmer switches. But the dimmer switches are very similar to what the Arukh HaShulchan is speaking about. I haven't seen anybody being machmir to maybe he's going to speak about further to put to not use dimmer switches on Shabbos.